Hi, I'm Niki Jackson of Niki Jackson Art, and I primarily work in mixed media, mainly acrylics with some added stuff in like charcoal pencil, glitter and stuff like that. And I have been working on a project called the 100 Days of Painting. I started it last January and intended to do it Monday to Friday every week, and did it for a while, and then loads of stuff happened and got in the way. So I've had a few breaks along the way, and I'm up to, I think I'm on day 86 now, or 86, and so getting back to it to finish and get to 100. So I basically do a painting and upload it to my email list, and those on the list who it's completely free to join, and those on the list will get an email and see all the details for the latest painting and be able to buy it, or you can buy it from my website a few days later. So I kind of mix it up. Sometimes I add it to the website and send everybody there, and sometimes I do a buy it now kind of thing in the email. So I like to sort of mix it up and see what people enjoy. So I'm going to get started on this painting. I wanted to do something really nice, bright and cheerful, and so I'm going to start sketching it out in a moment. It's just me here. I don't have any moderators or anything, so I won't be able to participate too much in the chat. If you've got a question for me, I'll check back and forth and see if I can answer it for you, but I'm not expecting loads of people today since it's my first stream and I'm just kind of getting used to where everything is and all that. So welcome to those of you who are viewing, and like I say, feel free to ask me any art questions in the chat box, and let's get started. So I'm working on this is a MDF plywood, well not plywood, MDF shaped heart. It's already pre-cut and it's got a hole in it. I'm going to put a jute string loop in it at the end, but I've got to sketch out the design first of all. Just trying to move stuff around so I can see better on my computer. I might have to have the chat set up on another computer next time. But anyway, I'm going to get started and sketch out the painting that I had an idea for. So generally my work tends to follow a theme of kind of like a country landscape kind of theme, but in a whimsical way, and I do cupcakes and cute animals and things like that. This time I wanted to do a really cheerful landscape. I know for me January is pretty sad and depressing. The weather's not great, it's cold, and starting a new year is always difficult, and I always find it really hard to get going after Christmas and things like that. So I wanted to create something really cheerful and fun. So I'm going to do a kind of landscape of flowers, and you'll quickly learn that my technique for painting is pretty much simplicity. I like to sketch it out very roughly at first, lay in the background colours, and then we add in the detail after that. So as you can see, this is super rough, and I've got an idea of the colours that I want to use and the kind of placement and everything in my mind. So I'm going to go ahead and start laying in the colours. So I need to get all my paints and things ready. I use watercolour brushes for my tools. These are Winsor & Newton Copeman brushes, round-headed ones. I find they're really great for blending. So I'm just going to get my paints together first of all. So first of all, I'm going to use this craft paint. It's Vanilla Bean. It's a just a crafter's acrylic, nothing fancy. And I'm going to need a green as well. So I think I'm going to use my favourite one, which is this avocado craft paint. So we'll get started and lay that down first of all. Basically need to lay down probably 2 or 3 layers of the paint to begin with. At first it looks pretty boring, but it soon starts to come together when you start to lay in the detail. So I'm streaming from my studio in the UK, and it's a pretty horrible day outside. It's been sort of raining stroke sleeting, and it's all grey and nasty outside, so I'm glad to be here in the warm and painting. Feels great to be back painting again, because I haven't painted since before Christmas, with all the holiday goings on and other things getting in the way. So I'm really glad to be back doing this. I'm glad to have some more ideas. I don't just work on hearts, I work on, I like to work on square canvases. I find that composition is really good for me. I do some rectangle ones as well. And I do tend to work fairly small, probably around 4x4 to 5x7 inches mostly. But I do the odd bigger piece, and I do plan to do some bigger ones this year as well, because they take so much longer, and I really love being able to create a painting in an afternoon and have it ready for you. That seems to work really well for me. So yeah, that's pretty much how I work. All my stuff's available on my website, nikijacksonart.com, if you want to see more of what kind of stuff that I generally do. And I have a YouTube channel which I'm currently building. I've got quite a few videos on there already, and plan to add these streams to it if I can. And yeah, I'm gonna make that a good resource for artists or aspiring artists, and those who just like to watch me create my work. So that's pretty much that. I'm guessing as I do more of these and I get to know more of you in the Twitch community, it'll be really good to have some chats about art and stuff, and you can ask me questions about art and my processes and things. So I'm going to go in and put another layer in the sky. I also need to figure out which sort of time of day is going to be really good. I tend to do my other streams on Ustream sort of around 4 o'clock, this kind of time I guess, and works for some of you early birds in the US. So we'll have to see how that works out for Twitch and the community. But if you miss this, you can catch the recording, I believe. I think they were up for a little while on there, so It's nice to create something really cheery at this time of year when it's so gloomy outside. I can show you, that's my view out of the window. It's pretty dull and horrible. So and then my next layer on the sky is going to include a couple more colours, so I'm just going to go ahead and get those. I've got a whole tub of paints under my desk to use, so I'm going to go for some white and some pink. I've got this really nice Liquitex pink. It's a heavy body acrylic and it's light portrait pink, so I'm going to use some of that. I mostly do art videos at least once a week on either Ustream and uploaded to YouTube, or an individual YouTube recording depending on what I'm working on that week. So you can expect some regular art videos from me. That yellow still looks quite thin, so I think I'm going to have to do a fourth layer, which is rare. I don't normally need to do that many, but it might be because it still needs to dry a bit, so I'll let that dry a bit more. And in the meantime, I may as well give you a quick tour of my studio while we're waiting for that. So try not to turn it too quick. So this is my art desk, and I have a desk easel which I normally have up, but for recording I need to have it down so you can see what I'm doing. So that's that, and then I've just actually decorated in here, so it's looking a bit nicer than usual. So this is the corner. This is where I like to sit and come up with ideas for my business and art ideas. And here's my big bookcase. I've got some cute Disney animated dolls I got for Christmas. I've put those up there, which look really good. And I got all my like supplies and sketchbooks and things. And then there's the door, and then this desk here is where I am meant to be doing my drawing and learning to use markers. It's a bit messy at the moment because I'm still in the middle of putting stuff back from when I decorated last week, so that's why it's so messy. And then just above it I've got my paintings, mostly from my 100 Days of Paintings project. Hopefully you can see those okay. And then turn around slowly. On this side of the room I've got my printer and my printed products all down there, and then my laptop is currently here because I need to get to it to speak to you and to sort out the cameras and stuff, but it's normally here on my stand. And then above there I've got my inspiration board. I've got like little quotes, pictures that mean something to me, little reminders and stuff like that. And then some art from my favourite artists, a monthly planner. This is my whiteboard and my children's book that I wrote a few years ago, and another piece of art from another artist that I like. And then under the desk I've got my other printer for basic printing, just basic stuff. The other one is for doing prints for my shop. And then in the corner here we've got my secret cubby hole, which is full of art books and packaging supplies and paintings and all sorts. So and there we go, back to my drawing messy desk and my paintings. So there you go, that's where I'm working. And let's get you back to the table. There we go, so that wasn't too bad. Trying to move the camera. So right, so this should be a bit more dry now, so we can go in and put another layer on and then add in some of those other colours. I'm thinking of putting like daisies and pink flowers, maybe even some lilac or blue ones. Really want it to be nice and bright and colourful. Starting to get darker here in the UK. It's about, well, it's just gone 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We have 2 Dalmatian dogs. One is 8, called Ellie, and the other is Sky. It's a puppy. She's a new addition to our family. We picked her up last summer. She's 8 months old now and she's gorgeous, so is Ellie. And they're being really good at the moment, sleeping downstairs. So I expect I'll have to go down and give them their dinner in about an hour. So I'll try and stream for as long as I can on this. I'd like to show you some of the more details, like the daisies and things like that, before I go. So adding in a bit of white. And then while it's still wet, I'm going to add in some pink. This is a really nice rich pink. See if you can see that. There we go. So just going to add a tiny bit just into the sky, just to break it up, sort of like a nice sunset or a sunrise. Just brings it out more. It's pretty. And put that to one side. I may use that for some of the flowers later on. So I'm going to put this yellow away because we're done with that now. It's going to take a little bit just for that sky to dry. So I guess in the meantime I'm going to sort out what colours I'm going to use for flowers. I don't think we need any more of that green either for now. Put that to one side. We'll definitely need the white. I've got another yellow that I'd like to use for the centres of the flowers. It should be around here somewhere. It's a Winsor & Newton Galleria Naples yellow. It's a bit squished up, but it's a gorgeous colour. I always struggle to get the lid off this one. It's really lovely, like buttery kind of yellow, and that's really good for the centres of flowers. So I'm going to use that one. And what else will I need? I may use one of these match pots I got. I've got a load to decorate, or see which colour I wanted to decorate the studio. So I might have a go with some of these, use those up. I might need to mix some colours, so just let that dry a bit. I'm going to put, I need my trusty brown. I use this earth brown. It's an acrylic paint. I suppose I could show you on there as well. It's what I use for a lot of my shading, and it's a really useful colour. I'm starting to get towards the end of it and I need to get some more. That's better. So I'll need that, and I need a darker green as well for the wildflowers growing up. So I'm going to use this leaf green. So I think I'm going to have to start using my heat gun. I'm going to go plug this in so we can get this to dry a lot quicker. This is just a craft heat gun, which is really handy for drying your products. It's pretty noisy though, but it does make things a lot quicker. Just if you're going to use this, try not to hold it too close because it can make the paint start to bubble up. So I'm just going to get that bit of paint out of the hole so it doesn't dry in there. Wipe that on my old rag. So now we're ready to start adding in the detail, and again it's going to be kind of rough but intentional lines. Some of these will be grasses, and I know I definitely want some daisies in here, so I think I'm going to have a big one coming out the side here and facing in with a nice big central bit in the middle and some nice petals. Like I said, a lot of the detail that I put in is done actually with paint, so I just give myself a kind of rough idea of where I want things. I think I'm going to put another one up here, but I'm going to do it a bit higher. I want this to be really colourful and pretty. And full of lots of nice flowers. I think I might put another one kind of bending over a little into the centre there, just to balance it out. Usually 3 of things is usually visually a really good idea. And then I'm going to have some other kinds of flowers. So I think I might do some like I'm going to do like some forget-me-nots and things down here. So we've got like really tiny little flowers sort of bursting through the bottom bit. So I'll find a nice blue for those. I think I'll put them so they're sort of framing the bottom of the heart, which is nice. And again, some more up here. So this is what we've got so far. Still in frame, great. So right, so we've got the daisies, we've got forget-me-nots. What else should we put in? They're kind of like wild flowers, so we're going to have white, blue, we need some pink. So I think I might do some like penstemons. They're one of my favourite flowers. They're like little trumpets. Let's do a few of those. And they have like long kind of leaves. And I'll try and balance it out by putting some on this side. I'm not trying to make it identical to the other side because flowers are just all natural and not symmetrical at all. penstements, and then I think I might go in and start colouring these and then add in some more as we go. We'll see how crowded it is, if at all, and yeah, see how it goes. So for this part of the painting, I'm going to switch brushes and I'm going to go for this smaller one. It's I don't know what size it is. It's a 111 round Winsor & Newton watercolour Coatman brush. So I'm going to go in and do the daisies first, I think, because that's the easiest place to start. And I've got my white. Just going in with base colours to begin with. I feel like we could do with some music going on in the background, since I don't have any like chat in the chat room yet. It would be really good to have some background music, but I'm not really sure about copyright and stuff. I'm not sure what you can have going on. Maybe I'll find some royalty-free music and make a playlist or something in future broadcasts. I'm really pleased with how this is going so far. It's just, I get an idea in my head sometimes. I see the pictures as I want to do it, so yeah, I'm really excited that this is coming together. I'm going to do the centres of the daisies now with the lovely Naples yellow. As you can see, it's a nice rich yellow and it stands out quite a bit from the other yellow that we used for the background. It's a nice sunshiny kind of yellow. There's lots of sort of stages to my paintings that I go through, and these are sort of basic laying down of colours, sketching, and again laying down colours for the details, and then towards the end we add in highlights and shading, which really makes them pop and bring them out. And you'll get to know how I do that as you watch my future broadcasts. Hopefully I'll be able to get some of it done today, if not all. Let's see how we go for time. I can hear the dog starting to get a bit restless downstairs, so we'll see how we go. I know some streamers go for hours and hours. I'm not sure I would be able to commit to that, but it's really great to be able to share with you my painting process. I'm going to go in with the pink now. I'm going to use the same pink that I used in the sky, to sort of tie it together, and I'm going to use that on these penstemons, and I might add in another colour as well later on. I might even actually add a purple for that side instead of doing it all the same. That'd look nice. And we've got all the grass and the flower stems to add in yet. Well, that's really pretty already. Sometimes you need to give these craft paints a really good shake, because they settle and they get really watery and horrible. So I've got this purple lilac, well, it's called lavender, but I'm not really sure about this colour. Let's go in and try it. We can always change it. That's the beauty of acrylics. You make a mistake, you can paint over it. Let's see what it looks like. It might be alright on this colour palette. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It seems like it does actually. That's good. I'm not great at mixing colours, I have to confess. I can do it, but sometimes it takes me a little while to get the shade that I want. So that's why I like using a lot of craft paints, because they have such a brilliant range of colours. And I also really like the texture of them. A lot of them dry matte, so they are great for putting charcoal pencil on and other things over the top. Some of the professional paints are quite glossy looking, and it's hard to draw over the top of those. I'm wondering if this blue will be any good for the forget-me-nots. It's quite a kind of subtle blue. Let's have a look. Let's put the lid on the purple so I don't knock that everywhere. Keep that out so I know which ones I used. Again, I might as well try it, and then if it doesn't work I can go over it. This is really nice, sort of a grey blue. It's nice and subtle. See if it stands out enough on here. seems to work really well actually. Hopefully when it dries it'll still look as good. Wash it out really good because I don't want any glue. So I'm going to go back to the daisies now, and I'm going to show you how I do some of the shading and highlights, just in case I have to go soon. I'll start off with another layer of white. Depending on how opaque the colours are or how transparent they are, depends on how many layers that you need and what kind of look you're going for. For these I want kind of quite an opaque look to them. And it's pretty good. So while it's still wet, I'm going to go in with my earth brown and show you how I do this shading. So I think my light source is going to be coming from the left, so I need my shadows on the right. So I'm going to go in and just blend in a very small amount of the brown, just on the right hand side of the petals. Now where you've got quite a bit there, all I do is wash out my brush, dry it off on my rag, and then go in and blend it. Because these are watercolour brushes, they do still hold the water in them even if you think you've dried it off quite a lot. As you can see, there's already a drip forming there at the bottom, so just smooth that. And again, with acrylics you can take out the paint if you put too much on there just by dampening your brush again, so it's really good. So now I'm going to go in with some more white while it's still wet. And just brighten that up. And as you can see already, it gives it more depth to the flower. I'm not going for realism here, my style is pretty much whimsical, but I still like to give it sort of depth and interest to it. So that's how I do it. Sometimes I actually use Titan Buff from Golden. I might add in a bit of that now, just to bring out the petals a bit more. I've just got this new one for Christmas because my one went all hard and horrible. So let's get this out and try it. So I'm going to use this as the mid-tone, and then the white can be the highlight. I'm just going to add that in the middle there. You can see it's a really pretty, nice sort of very pale beigey colour. I'll rinse my brush again. Make sure it's pretty dry. Go in with some more white now. I don't want too much on the brush. So where the light source is coming in from the left, just add that there. And you can see compared to the other daisies that haven't been finished yet, how much that brings it out. Try and show you up close a bit more. There we go. So now we can go in and do the centre of the daisy. I use a similar technique. So go in with the yellow. And then I'm going to go in with some of brown, a very tiny amount, again on the right hand side. And then rinse my brush, and we're going to put in some highlights. And one thing I also like to do in my paintings is use glitter. So for flowers like these daisies, I'd probably go in and put some, I may even do that, put some glitter on the petals. I use Stickles glitter glue, find those really pretty. So I'm going to go in and put another bit of white on these petals to bring them out even more. Hi Pika, thank you, welcome. Glad to see you popping in. Thank you very much. So when I go to finish, when this is all complete and all the paint is really dry, I usually either go in with a charcoal pencil and go sort of around the lines, and then I'll soften it with a Q-tip or cotton bud. Sometimes it works brilliantly for certain paintings, and others, like this one where I want it to be really light and fresh, I'll probably go back in with my graphite pencil and just define the lines a bit more, and just put in a bit of detail like that way. So just so you know, in case I have to disappear later on, that's what I do. So this blue has now dried and I think it looks pretty good. It's the colour I'm kind of wanting, so that's really good. So I think I'm going to go in and start working on some of the stems of the flowers and the grass to make that come out a little bit more. So I chose this leaf green. I'm going to mix in some of the earth brown as well. So I'm just going to go in and put some basic stems in first and give it a shake. I think I'll probably use this to go in and paint over all of them, and then I'll either darken or lighten them with other colours afterwards. I'll just get the bases in. Sometimes I paint these by hand if I'm doing this kind of style of piece, or sometimes I'll do them with, I'll use like an old credit card or something and put paint on the edge and use that to create the texture. But I think I want this to be a bit more soft and yeah, go for a more softer look, so I'm going to paint them by hand this time. Like penstemon foliage is pretty dark, so I'll probably go over those with a darker green afterwards. I don't want to put too much dark into this though, so I might just darken it with the earth brown. It's getting pretty dark outside now. It's only what is it? I'm just going 4:30. But the evenings are definitely pulling out now, which is really good. So yeah, I love the lighter evenings, especially in spring and summer. It's just so nice, makes the days feel longer, feel like you can get more done. It's coming along really well. This is the kind of look that I was going for. I'm not even sure whether it really needs any more flowers actually. We'll see. I think it's a bit more foliage perhaps. I don't want to overcrowd it really. It's coming along pretty good. Hopefully you can see that. I've got the details there of the flowers. I'm going to add some more to it later on. So I think I'm just going to finish off doing these stems and then call it a day for today, and see if I can figure out how to stop the recording and see if I did actually record it. And thank you for those of you who've popped in, I really appreciate it, and thank you to those of you who are going to watch the recording if it's up. Considering this is my first, it's gone quite well, so I hope you've enjoyed it, and I shall definitely be doing more in the near future. And hopefully for a bit longer next time as well. Turn this upside down so I can reach these ones without smudging the ones that I've done. So there we go, this is what we've got so far. Pretty pleased with that. So I'm going to come back to this tomorrow. I may stream it. If I don't stream it, then if it's still available, I will show you the end result, and if not, I'll show you a picture of it next time I stream. So thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you again soon, hopefully in another broadcast.